What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how I live loop my beats in FL Studio using a MIDI. Now, I'm sure there's other ways to do it. I'm sure there's other software to use, but a lot of you have asked in the comments how I do it, so I just want to show you. If you guys came here for like specific tips, such as how to live loop your hats or do a pattern, I'll leave everything in a timestamp for you guys to click around to. And make sure to stick around for the end where I live loop a real beat. Before I get started, don't forget to follow me at 𝗦𝘂𝘂𝗶𝗹𝗶 on Instagram. And now let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I got this MIDI. This is like a brand new MIDI. I literally just hooked it up. All I did was I plugged it into my laptop so far. After connecting the MIDI to my laptop, all I did was I went to options, MIDI settings, and then on input, selected my MIDI, click enable, make sure you have a port here, and then you're good to go. So for example, I could play anything now. So now that you have your MIDI set up, you're gonna wanna get some sounds. All I do is I go to this browser area, navigate to whatever files I'm using, and then for example, for this file, I have hi-hats, kicks, claps, and all I'm going to do is drag those over here. And then whichever one you select right here, that's going to map to your MIDI. So hi-hats, or if I want to do a kick. And so the one thing I always use is FPC. It comes with FL Studio, depending on what version you get, I think. What I like to do is I like to go to this top left corner, click presets, and then empty everything. That way I can start fresh. Rename it to make it look nice. So now that I have this in FPC, you can see that I have a list of pads here. None of them make any sound when you click on them. And if you can't tell, the pads in FPC don't match my pads in my MIDI. Like, they don't look the same. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna click this drop-down menu, click map notes for entire bank. And this goes for any MIDI. The way FPC is gonna map these notes now is from left to right going up. So it's gonna do this row first from left to right, then this row, so on and so forth. So for this MIDI, I want it left to right exactly. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit them in order. And you can see they highlighted on the screen as I hit them. Now it's waiting for me to map this top bank. But like, to me, it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to play those. Just for kicks, I'll do it anyways. So now that I mapped the notes, this one's going to be the bottom left pad. Now that you have FPC mapped to your MIDI, it's time to load in some sounds. So I like to usually go from left to right with like snares on the left and kicks and hats on the right. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to put my clap right here. I'm going to put this snare here. This kick right here. So for hi-hats, let's say that I just want like a normal hi-hat on this pad. All I'm gonna do is map it down here. And whenever you hit this pad, the hi-hat's gonna play once. And if you hold it down, it's not gonna keep playing. So this is great when you wanna do like custom patterns when you're recording. But a lot of you are asking me how you can hold down the pad and then have the hat keep playing. So what you're gonna wanna do, whatever song or tempo you wanna use, make sure you have that tempo up. Make sure you have a pattern up. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight this hi-hat pattern here. Make sure it's the only thing playing right now. And I'm gonna go to export and I'm gonna go to wave file. Now we have that hi-hat pattern as an export. So when I click on this, you hear that it's like an actual pattern. Let me clear FPC real quick just by hitting delete. So now whenever I press that pad, it's gonna play the pattern. But the only thing is if I press it twice, it's gonna play the pattern twice. And if you can't tell, that's not what we want. So for this pattern here, I'm just gonna turn the attack all the way down, decay all the way down, release all the way down, and sustain all the way up. Now, whenever I play that pattern on the pad, it's gonna stop whenever I stop and play whenever I play. So aside from playing FPC, you might want to be able to play the piano and drums at the same time. The way you're going to do it is left click on a piano or whatever melody you want, and then right click on your drums, which I use FPC. And the way it works in relation to my MIDI is it's reverse order. So if I highlight the piano melody on my computer on top, see it's on top in the green right here, that's going to be on my keys. And then if I do the FPC on the bottom of my computer right here, it's going to be on the top of my MIDI on these pads. And if for some reason you want the drums to your keys and then the melody on your pads, I don't know why you'd want to do that. You can just hold down Alt and press up or down and it'll move for you. Okay, now to get into actual live looping, the settings I turn on are blend recording, loop recording, which loops your beats. I like to have a countdown before I start recording because make sure you're ready. Sometimes I'll turn on the metronome. It helps you get started. And then you can always turn it off halfway through your looping. And so I'm just going to record a quick pattern at 164. I'm going to select GMS on top and FPC on bottom. That way I can play them both. I'm going to have a new pattern because I don't want to mess up any of these old patterns that I have mapped out already. I'm going to mute everything but this pattern because I want this melody to play right now and I don't want to record it. I'm going to select exactly kind of where I want it to loop. So whenever it hits bar number 5 here, it's going to go back to the beginning and re-record and keep going. And finally, I'm going to click this drop-down menu to quantize my beats. Basically what quantizing is it takes whatever you're playing and it snaps it to like the correct place. Last but not least, we're going to hit record and then I'm going to go to notes and automation because that's all I want to record right now. You can also do mics or everything, but not for me right now. Highlighted track 8 right here because that's where I'm going to be recording. I'm going to press play and I can play whatever I want. So you can hear I messed up a little bit, and you can also hear that the quantized step that I did right here was not perfect. There was a clap that was like hitting on the wrong beat. So all I would do is I would go ahead and change that, maybe half step, maybe beat. You can also change this like halfway through live looping. So if you want something specifically on the beat, you can change this to beat. And then the other halfway through, if you want to play 16th notes, you can change it to quarter beat. I borrowed this file from another YouTuber, link in the description if you want to check their channel out. But once you put everything together, this is what it sounds like.